more positive timelines and to connect with our star brothers and sisters in a way that serves ourselves, uplifts ourselves, and serves humanity. I was just curious if there's, like, should we go outside and meditate in nature? Should we, I mean, just looking at opportunities to make that happen and maybe have a connection with the other group conscious people who are also interested in doing the same. Thanks, Bashar.
All you're saying is that you're following your passion by choosing to do so if that's what seems most exciting to you. And by following your passion, you are following the formula, as long as you don't forget all the other points of following the formula. And by doing so, that's what increases the probability of open contact and raises the vibration of light in your reality to go from third density to fourth density physical reality experiences. That's all there is to it. Follow the formula. It doesn't leave anything important out.
Okay.
Good day.
I'm so excited.
Good day. Good day.
So excited to speak to you, Bashar.
And you as well. Good day.
Good day. I have 3 questions for you.
Yes.
My first one is, there were these beings that contacted me in a dream state, and I got the feeling or the sound of Lithians. They were almost kangaroo-like individuals. Can you tell me anything about them?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right. Next question. I was living in Hawaii for a few years, and this happened 3 times to me. This entity or being came into my bed, and I felt it lay behind me, and after that, it wrapped its arms around me. And it gets kind of confusing because I was confused that the first time it happened, whether I was dreaming or whether it was really happening. And when I felt its arms around me, it felt kind of hairy, spiky, to a sense. The first time I felt kind of a little bit scared and didn't know what it was or didn't know how to react. By the 3rd time it happened, to make it short, I was tired, and I spoke to it and I said, I'm tired. I can't really, I don't know if I said I can't really fight you or try to struggle. And I just let it go. And after that, it didn't happen anymore.
Yes. So for the purpose of allowing you to learn to let go and not struggle with the idea of making connections to other beings that you have made agreements to make connections with, it was in that sense a brief exercise to allow you to know that there is no reason to fear and that you can let go, and that letting go is the proper vibration to live your life in, so that whatever really needs to happen can happen more automatically, more effortlessly.
Wow. I love you, Bashar. I'm going to be 50 years old this Earth cycle, and I just feel like a champ.
All right. Congratulations. Is there a 3rd question?
Yes. The next question is, Willa Hilla Christen is 700 years in the future. I was wondering one day, how far can you perceive what we call the future? Can you perceive it? Can you see it 700 years past that?
To some degree we can. Again, it depends upon the purpose. The idea is that we understand that in about 1,000 of your years, humanity will have become the 6th hybrid race. And in a sense, overall, you will be done with the idea of incarnating on Earth. As the 6th hybrid race, you will blend with the other 5 to become the 7th hybrid race, which will usher in a 100,000 year piece in the idea of your quadrant of the galaxy.
Wow, amazing. Amazing. Those are my 3 questions, Bashar. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you, and I love you so much.
Our unconditional love to you as well. Aveo.
Aveo.
Greetings, Bashar. My name is Georgette Correa from Atlanta, Georgia. I had an experience in which I astral traveled, and I was with a being of light who she and I say she, no gender, but she and I were levitated and we were telepathically communicating. And I remembered only one line: you'll know everything you need to know when you need to know it. And she said that because as I was being drawn back to my physical form, I started to forget. And I could literally see a veil closing in front of me as I was being pulled to my physical body. Who was that? What was that all about? Thank you.
It's your spirit guide. You have an astral experience with your spirit guide, reminding you of exactly that. You have this ability, you have this power, you have the ability to move forward. And by simply going back into the physical reality, you symbolized it as literally the closing of a veil. It's an interpretation of densification of energy and crystallization back into the physical reality level of consciousness. So it's just a way of interpreting going into a denser vibration. But that was your spirit guide, giving you a little bit of an astral education.
Bashar,
Good day.
I am very grateful to have another opportunity to interact with you. Thank you for making yourself available in this way.
It is our passion and our pleasure. What would you like to discuss?
I would like to test the information that I could channel for a friend regarding his abduction experience. I don't care if I'm right, but I care about being of help to him. And so this is what he experienced in his own words. I saw a 5.5 foot tall insectoid being with 4 antennae, 2 from its head, 2 from its cheeks. It was dark brown, black in color, had huge eyes, and somehow sent coercive energy to make me comply through the antennae. In an interview, he describes to find himself in a cave where there are also humanoid-looking beings and where he's looking at a vast array of screens that all played different androgynous images that were very vibrant in color and that were moving very fast from right to left. He was receiving information from the vertices between these fast-moving images. Could you please help him make sense of this and tell us what the scar from his encounter, which sometimes changes color, represents?
Yes. You are looking at a point in the history of the Greys, before they became the Greys, where they had understood they needed to become the Greys, mutate themselves in that way in order to reclaim their heritage and allow their culture to be perpetuated, whereupon they hired what most people on your planet refer to as the mantis beings, the insect-like beings, to be the overseers of this program of hybridization that would allow their culture to survive. But at a certain point, they were underground in what you call tunnels and caves to protect themselves from the damage they had caused on the surface of their planet, their version of Earth, in another reality, and were now at this point in what you have perceived, deciding exactly how to move forward, how they were going to change themselves, how they were going to become a unified hive mind, in a sense, becoming somewhat androgynous, losing certain abilities, so they could regain certain abilities in the creation of the hybrids, such as my civilization. This is what you were perceiving is that moment in their history.
Thank you.
Yes.
Us interacting with each other is building this beautiful container for unity consciousness on this planet. I find myself in the state of loving it and of integrating my divine masculine and divine feminine, my reptilian and my Pleiadian, my Orion and Sirian aspects, balancing the 2 brain hemispheres and evolving the global mind.
Yes.
I am what I am, and I love it. I don't do time wars. Life is too precious not to live in alignment with creation. And my question and request is there anything that the Interstellar Federation would maybe please like to share with the Move On Symposium this year, which is titled Aliens, Friend or Foe?
What you are always interacting with are friends. There are no foes around you, none that can reach you. The idea to understand is that there is a high probability, above 90%, of a major contact event happening somewhere around your year of 2026 and 2027. That will change everything and the way you look at life and the way you connect to the stars. So be prepared for the idea of an upliftment of vibration, a recognition of awareness and awakening to the idea that you are part of a galactic family, which is imminent, not too far away.
Thank you very much, Bashar. Thank you.
It is our passion and our pleasure, Aveo,
Aveo.
of the choices that you make. In this case, to some degree, better that it was done with a spirit than with a living person, where the consequences might have been even more drastic. But by being able to actually feel the spirit physically push you, you may have been given a chance to change your behavior without it necessarily affecting a physical person who would be more affected by it than the spirit was. And the spirit in that sense may simply have been demonstrating something without necessarily taking it personally.
But generally, the fact that they're in spirit means that they will have certainly the capability of experiencing what you're saying at a higher level.
Yes, and again, they may not have experienced it personally at all. It may simply have been a lesson being taught.
Interesting. This person is saying, my grandfather can see ghosts for about 1 year now, usually at nighttime, sometimes in the afternoon, and almost every night. He doesn't want to sleep. He wants to chase them away. They look at him, but don't talk. When he tries to reach them, they press something on their chest and disappear. Who are they?
These are not ghosts. These are interdimensional beings. So the idea may be that he senses that they're from somewhere else. They may feel quite alien to him. He may not be comfortable around them, simply because he may not be comfortable with the differences that they represent. The fact that they're pressing their chests indicates to some degree that they're using a type of technology, which a ghost would not need to do. A ghost would simply vanish. So this is more the behavior of interdimensional beings that are connected to that person and attempting perhaps to remind him of his connection to them, which he may not be in a place to acknowledge at this particular point because of whatever belief systems he's holding on to. But it might be a way of goading him into exploring these things rather than chasing them away.
So as people get older also, particularly, let's say they're in the 5-year range of when they might pass or something like that, will this ability be more accessible if that person realizes it, to be able to connect or see ghosts and things like that?
If they realize, yes. It can happen, or it doesn't have to, but yes, it's quite possible that as you approach the idea of crossing the threshold from physical to non-physical reality, that your senses may start connecting to the other side, and you may be more acutely aware of the fact that other beings in spirit are connecting to you.
Could it potentially be similar to the idea of the way cats can be just sitting there and suddenly they're staring at watching something that appears to be from another dimension? Yeah. Would it might manifest that way?
Yes.
And how, if you haven't already answered this maybe in detail, how can an entity or ghost move things around and turn things on like a faucet or a stove?
Again, a densification of the vibration of the entity can bring them closer to the vibration of physical reality, and therefore within a range in which they can actually interact with denser physical material, because they have densified their own vibration to be sufficiently close to that frequency of physical reality to be able to manipulate physical objects.
Okay. This person has a question about ghosts who don't know they're ghosts. Can you elaborate on the people who pass who don't know they're ghosts? And does this happen to animals too? What is the best ceremony or blessing we can do to guide them and honor them in a way that assists them towards their highest good? And what does your society do to honor your loved ones once they've been elevated?
It is extremely rare that animals would experience that. extremely rare and for very specific reasons only. The idea is, again, if someone has a certain belief system that is in denial about the existence of an afterlife, it may be strong enough to prevent them from realizing that they're dead, but not for very, very long in terms of the idea of time as you know it. Because they will always have assistance from the other side to realize that their condition has changed and that they are capable of moving forward. So it's a temporary thing that can be helped both from the non-physical and the physical side if you connect to a spirit and encourage them to look around and explore and understand that their frequency has changed, that they've gone into a non-material world, so to speak. Again, this is the original purpose of what has been misunderstood and devolved into the concept of exorcism. It's simply ghost psychology, where you understand that someone is maybe having a difficult time because of their earthly belief systems in crossing over fully. But again, this is still, especially in this day and age, relatively rare. The reason why people may interact with ghosts, in many cases, is far beyond the idea now of the ghosts themselves not knowing that they're dead. So there are many other reasons and purposes for these interactions or for people perceiving them. Messages and so on that need to be delivered. Yes, a little bit of unfinished business, but again, this doesn't really take very long. Although sometimes a psychically sensitive person can help them with this by delivering messages to the living that allows the ghosts, the spirits, to know that the message has been delivered so they can move on. But again, in the overall population, this is relatively rare. But animals have very little reason to experience the idea. Perhaps an animal that has been severely physically abused might experience this momentarily. But again, an animal is much more connected to the idea of spirit and much more capable of immediately awakening into their natural state. Again, they may stick around for the purpose of interacting with a human that may need their assistance or their reflection, but that has nothing to do specifically with the animal's ability to know that it is dead.
And if some spirits don't realize that they've died, did they experience life review upon death?
In many cases, no. Or they may have experienced it as a dream, thinking that they're still alive and simply dreaming, or daydreaming, or hallucinating. But in some cases, no. They're not yet at that threshold where they have the awareness to recognize what it is they're experiencing as a life review. They may simply think that they're sort of stuck on a memory.
So basically, you can delay your life review by refusing to move towards the light or move into spirit fully?
Again, this is relatively rare, but yes, to some degree it's possible. The examples of the idea you call near-death experience and fully dying provide an illustration for this. Because the idea is that when people have a near-death experience, when they're not going to remain dead, they will usually have the life review sooner than a person who actually dies, because then they don't have to rush, because they're going to come back. They're not going to come back, so they don't have to have the life review right away. But the people that are going to return in a near-death experience will usually have some degree of life review more quickly than those who truly pass on.
Interesting. And what about those individuals that perpetrate great evil on Earth in the sense of murder, mayhem, etc.? And I know that you had referred one time to Hitler having to sort of be put on ice in order to, I guess, integrate.
An energetic buffer is created to allow the being to go through what may seem to be the traumatic experience of the life review, because remember, in life review, there are no barriers. The cause and effect are all happening within you, and you experience everything from every point of view, including the people that were affected by the choices and the actions that you took. So you're experiencing those things as if you are that person being affected by your choices. And to a soul, that can be to some degree a traumatic experience, especially at the level that certain individuals may have perpetrated those kinds of negative actions. So a kind of cocoon or buffer is created. This is what is meant by being put on ice, to allow the soul to absorb these experiences and learn from them in a way that will benefit them so that they can make different choices from that point forward.
And when you say that the cause and effect, suppose they're in a position where they are telling other people to do things, and further down the chain, the actual actions that are so heinous are taking place.
Everything is connected. Everything is connected. Remember, time and space are illusions to some degree, even though they're real as experiences. But any ripple whatsoever that has any kind of an effect is experienced by those who have any connection to it, to whatever degree they have the connection to it.
So in the average person's transition and life review, they will experience the ripple effect of everything that they've done in their entire life, or only the ones that are really relevant for a learning experience?
Everything, but the ones that are truly relevant for a learning experience that is specific to them will stand out in certain ways. But beings experience literally every single second of the physical life. Again, some things will stand out more than others, but that doesn't mean they don't experience them. Even the absence of something that is the result of some action they took will be experienced by them.
And yet, since the timeline for things to be experienced while you're in spirit as opposed to being physical is different, what kind of a time does it take, or how much time does it take, in a sense, to go through a life review?
As your Einstein said, it's all relative. What to you may seem to be something that took years, may be experienced in the blink of an eye to the spirit in a life review. But it may seem to them that they're reliving the entire life as well. You have to understand that time is a funny thing, because it is a subjective idea and a relative idea. So the things that stand out as important may feel like they're taking more time to a spirit because of their importance and the need to focus on them, when in fact it may really be taking almost no time at all. So it's really completely subjective, and you cannot really make a measurement between physical and non-physical reality as to the amount of time that some experience actually takes. It's all absolutely subjective in spirit.
And also the idea that you're multi-functioning, so can many aspects of the life be happening simultaneously in your review, or it would appear more linear?
Again, it depends on what it is you need to focus on, what it is that gives you the lesson that you're attempting to extract. It can be experienced absolutely in the blink of an eye on every level simultaneously, or it can seem to stretch out depending on what you need.
And for those beings that choose to incarnate into what will ultimately be some sort of evil iconic spirit, or evil iconic person, a figurehead that then wreaks havoc and destruction upon others, why would a spirit choose that? Or do they know going in that they're going to go through all these things you've just discussed as a result of making the choice to be that individual?
Like any question of this nature, it depends upon the being, and it depends upon the purpose. There is the possibility that beings, as you know, can forget who they are, can get caught up in certain things in physical reality that prevent them from having more awareness and allowing them to act out in negative ways. It can also go through the entire spectrum, all the way up to, I'm going to play this role because of what it's going to do to awaken the consciousness of those who are affected by it. It really depends on the situation. It depends on the being. These are individual things, and you have to, again, as always, take it on a case-by-case basis.
So, for example, with Hitler, did he know before he came that he was going to play that role?
This is a tricky question to answer because there are so many levels to the being itself, a part of which, a small part of which, your history knew as Hitler in your particular parallel reality. So again, I can say yes and no.
Okay.
And our pleasure. What would you like to discuss?
There's a few things I have in mind. I've been following your content for quite some times. And, just to provide a bit of context, in 2010, I started a design agency specialized in building impact solutions. So helping companies define their purpose and then translate that purpose into sustainable and socially impactful business models.
All right.
It's been quite the learning journey.
Yes.
And to me, to adopt new practices, you need to create attractive solutions. So I really dedicated myself at building co-creative models to help meet our clients where they were, and then help co-create maybe a better future for everyone.
All right. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. So it's been a learning journey, but now that 14 years into it, I'm realizing that I've been going a lot against the grain. Trying
All
to.
right. Well, how can you go more with the flow?
So
How can you go more with the flow?
exactly.
Use your creativity and imagination. What would you rather be doing, or how would you rather be doing it? If it is representative of your passion, there is always a way to be doing your passion in the most passionate way. So how could you be doing it differently than you're doing it now?
I've started to play around with the idea of, instead of trying to change others, to really build the visions myself.
Yes, well, you can't really change others. You can offer them the opportunity to change, but they have to be the ones to make that decision. So if you've been going about it with the idea that you're supposed to be changing them, then dropping that idea would help you flow more, because it's all well and good to share with others what you think might be willing to help them, but what they do with the information is none of your business because you don't know their path. So the idea is to stop focusing on needing to change them and just simply offer them things that you're excited to offer because that's who you are, and let them decide whether or not to take those things.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does. That's why I said it. It removes the weight off your shoulders and the burden that many people on your planet create for themselves of needing others to change. You can't need others to change. You can only offer them the opportunity to change, but you must leave it up to them to decide whether or not to match that frequency, whether or not to incorporate that change in their own lives. It's not your responsibility to make sure that they do. That's not your job. Your job is to be yourself, to give off the gifts that you have to give, to offer them to others as potential things that may assist them, but you absolutely have to leave it up to them to decide to incorporate them. That's none of your business.
Thank you for sharing that. Segueing into responsibility, I've been carrying the weight of responsibility for quite some times. It has guided some of my decisions. If I embarked on that impact journey over the years, was because I wanted my kids to have a planet to enjoy in the future.
Yes, but you remember, you never change the planet you're on. You change your frequency and you shift to another version of Earth that is already more representative of the frequency change you made within yourself. So teaching them how to change their frequency, how to navigate through all those different versions of parallel reality Earths by following the formula is how they will experience the idea of a version of Earth that is more representative of the joy that they create within themselves and the actions that they take that are representative of that joy. But you can't be responsible for others. You can only be responsible to them, to be yourself and be the living example of how they could also choose to be like you. To teach them the consequences of choices in a safe and creative way. so they understand how everything is connected, how everything is synchronicity, and how to move through the different parallel versions of Earth by following the formula, by being self-empowered, by knowing that they can attract anything they need in life to fulfill themselves without having to hurt themselves or anyone else in order to do so, and to not be responsible for others, but to be responsible to them by also being living examples of what other people can also, by seeing their example, choose to incorporate within their own lives as well, but to not need them to do so. Remember, you act on your passion for its own sake, not because of what you think it's going to cause or get you. Otherwise, you're making your passion conditional on what other people do.
Thank you for that. That makes a lot of sense. There's
All right.
always a bit of a discrepancy between, my intentions to act on my highest excitement and the short-term conditions I feel I need to go through.
Yes, but you see, that's contradictory, as you said, because if you have conditions that are outside conditions, then you're not acting on your passion. Because true vibration of passion is not reliant on exterior conditions. That's why I'm saying you act on your passion for its own sake, because that's who you are, because you have no other choice. Not because of what it's going to get you, not because of how other people are going to react. That's an outside condition. And that dampens the idea of your excitement, of your passion, because now it's not pure.
Maybe one last thing, if I may,
Yes.
that it's really connected with that same topic where, I feel responsible to, I jumped into that journey, which was really fulfilling, obviously, but to translate these values to my children. I have 2 kids, and if you'd look at my son, you'd see I'm the greatest parent. If you look at my daughter, you might think otherwise. She comes with a bit of anxiety baggage, and I'm really
About
trying
what?
really hard to connect
About what? Anxiety about what?
our focus is really on the perception of others.
What is her age?
14.
All right. Have you had any talks with her about the idea of why she thinks it's important to gauge herself based on what other people think?
I've tried to break that shell, but she's really pushing me back.
Why? What does she get out of it? Have you asked her that?
I've tried many times, but what I get from that, it's again my perception is that she's a bit insecure on what other people would think, so she's pushing her parents, especially her dad, away because it makes her look a bit more immature with her group of friends. That's one of the idea that has crossed my mind, but honestly, I don't know.
Have you told her that you love her unconditionally no matter what she does?
On a daily basis.
All right. Then keep doing so and let her go through her process.
Okay.
Just be there for her when she needs you to be. You don't have to push. You don't have to try and change her. Just understand that she has chosen a path, chosen a journey. She can learn eventually, but you have to let her go through her journey. You have to let her go through her path. Just be there for her.
That's been the hardest thing.
Well, it should be the easiest thing if you truly trust that she is a strong soul. Don't see her as weak. See her as strong. See her as exploring a certain idea. Whether it's positive or negative to you doesn't matter. She's exploring. Just be there for her. Just tell her that. I'm here for you. Whatever it is you decide to do, however it is you decide to be, I'm here for you. And I know you have a strong soul, and I trust that you will go through whatever you're going through in a way that will serve you best, but I'm here for you if you need me. If not, then I'm still here for you, unconditionally. If you can say that, then perhaps she will lighten up.
I'll try that.
All right. Does that serve you at this time?
It does. Thank you so much for this great sharing.
It is our passion and our pleasure. Except now that we have entered a new cycle in your year of 2024, because we have delivered information to you over the past 40 of your years, thus completing a cycle of humanity, which are typically in 40-year segments, we now begin a new cycle, a new form of interacting with your society, a new level of transmission, a new guidance of actions and participation and suggestions for what will bring you closer to the vibrational frequency of the interstellar alliance and closer to the vibrational frequency of open contact in the years to come. We will be delivering different steps over the course of this year, beginning with step 1 and proceed to step 2, step 3, and so on. But we wish to make it clear that each step we deliver is not just doing that step and then being done with it. Each step that we deliver will be cumulative, additive to the step before it. So you will continue to do step 1, for example, while you are doing step 2, and you will continue to do steps 1 and 2 while you are doing step 3, and so forth. So you will add each step to the previous one, continuing to do them all as we deliver them. But we would like to once again make it clear that it is your choice to do these suggestions, these actions, these steps. You do not have to do them. We are not saying it is an absolute. However, what we are saying is that each step that you do brings you closer to the vibration and frequency of the interstellar alliance and closer to the vibrational frequency of open contact. So it is up to you to determine how much of your vibration, of your frequency, you wish to align with the idea of our interstellar alliance, with the idea of open contact with us and hybrids and species like us, vibrationally speaking. So you make the determination, you make the choice to participate to whatever degree you are comfortable with. We will let you know that some of these steps may be challenging for many of you. You may not feel comfortable incorporating them into your daily routines, into your daily lives. So again, we leave that up to you and your free will as to what degree to participate in. It is up to you. But we will once again underline and underscore the idea that the more you are willing to take action on these suggestions, and the more fully that you are willing to perform them, the closer you will be to the vibration of the interstellar alliance, the closer you will be to aligning with the vibration of open contact with us and others like us. So it is up to you, it is in your hands. Now, the idea again is that we are about to deliver the Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment, Step 1. And next time we will deliver Step 2. And after that, Step 3, and again, so on and so forth. Each being added to the previous one. So, the idea also is to understand that as you engage in these actions, you will be united with others who are also willing to engage. It will be a cumulative effect of all of your energies that will increase the probability of contact over the next few years. But this is countdown to contact year 1. We will go into year 2, year 3. There will be many things that we will suggest that will be actions built upon previous actions that again can have a great deal of impact in allowing you to experience your shift into new versions of Earth that will be more and more representative of your ability to belong to the galactic family of the Interstellar Alliance and will improve your ability to experience the idea of open contact in many forms. So, again, we leave it up to you to act on these suggestions, though you may find them somewhat challenging, It is necessary and important for you to start navigating yourself in new directions to be the living examples to your society of what they can also choose for themselves. Again, not that they have to, but if they are willing to move forward with you together, all together in a similar vibration that acts as an open invitation to the interstellar alliance and open contact for you to experience this in the years to come. We begin this new cycle now because the potential of open contact is not so far away now. You have made it this far. You have been with us for many years. You have applied to the best of your ability the principles that we have shared with you. Applied the formula in your lives in the best way that you could. Always room for improvement, of course. Always room for more precision, more understanding, a deeper understanding. But you have now enough information with a willingness to apply what it is we have already shared with you. You have enough information and enough energy and enough momentum to begin this new cycle, this new endeavor, this new social experiment, for that is exactly what it is, a social experiment. And while you are doing this, you will notice many behavioral changes within yourself, because we are suggesting these behavioral changes, which will make a difference in your experience of physical reality and the world around you. Others will notice this too, and may ask you, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you taking these actions? Why are you making these changes? Why are you being different than you used to be? All you really need to do is say you are taking part in an interesting social experiment, and simply direct them to the source, which is us, of that information, so that they can decide for themselves whether or not they wish to also participate in this social experiment. But that is all you need to say. You do not need to go into great detail about it. We will provide that for you. You can just let them know you are participating in a social experiment that you find interesting, fascinating, challenging, and fun, that you believe will make a difference in the world. But you do not have to provide any details. We will do that for you. It is important for them to come to the source so that there is no misunderstanding, no confusion about what it is we are talking about, what it is we are suggesting. So you do not have to, in any way, shape, or form, bear the responsibility of explaining these ideas to anyone else. Just tell them where they can find them and allow yourself to move forward with your social experiment and your willingness, to whatever degree, to participate within it. So, in a moment now, we will have Nania read to you step 1 of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment, and you can begin to get an understanding of the kinds of things we will be suggesting as we move forward to steps 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So, allow yourselves to prepare, allow yourselves to be in an open energy, relax, let it in, and again remember, you don't have to do these, or you can do some of them, and you can refuse to do any of them at any time, but that will determine what vibrational frequency you are at and to what degree you may be capable of experiencing the Interstellar Alliance and open contact. So it's totally in your hands. Nania, are you prepared to read?
Yes.
All right. Please begin with the Interstellar Alliance social experiment, step 1. And before you say anything, everyone can know that they will be provided with what you call a download of this information so that you can print it out, copy it, have it for your own. And we would suggest that you begin to put all of these into a binder together so that you have an easy reference for each step in any way, shape, or form that you are comfortable accessing them. So this will be the first that you can download. Nania, please read Step 1 of the Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment.
Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment. Step 1. Do not engage in any conversations about conspiracy theories. Do not post or read any such theories. Remain neutral. Do what you can to learn the actual facts of any situation, no matter how long that takes. Do not accept people's opinions and statements as facts without substantial evidence. Many people believing or saying the same thing is not evidence. Some conspiracies exist, but not all are true, no matter how real they may feel. Do not speculate about which parts of a conspiracy theory may be accurate or true. Do not buy into any rumors out of fear or a need to belong. Ignore peer pressure to believe a conspiracy theory. Use common sense and rational discernment to choose what you believe regarding any rumors. Do not believe second or third-hand information. Always check with the original source if possible.
Thank you, Nania. Now, once again, this is step 1. It is an important step to shift your energies because there are many things going on your planet that contain a lot of misinformation, a lot of misdirection, a lot of confusion. Are there conspiracies? Yes, of course. The very idea of the secrecy surrounding extraterrestrials, UFOs, and so forth obviously involves many different people willing to keep a secret, willing to hide information. So yes, we're not saying that some conspiracies don't exist. Obviously, they do. But we will address what parts of it need to be addressed, what actions can be taken on some of those theories that are representative of a more straightforward approach rather than the confusion that exists and surrounds many of these theories that exist in your society. These will be contained in some of the future steps that we will deliver to you. So you do not have to be confused or worry or concern yourselves with which parts of any particular conspiracy theories are accurate. This will be contained in future steps to clarify any of these things in a certain way by the actions we will suggest. But for right now, it will aid and assist greatly in changing the frequency of many people if you will simply disengage from any conversations, discussions, postings, sharings, or involvement or belief in any conspiracy theories at all. It is important now to go into a neutral state with regard to many of those rumors, to allow yourself to set a foundation, a new foundation, a neutral foundation on which to build the future steps that we will deliver. It is about relaxing into your neutral self, pulling back from the things that get people on your planet caught up in all sorts of negative frequencies. It is about your willingness to move forward, to go beyond, and to let go of the idea that many conspiracy theories attempt to get you to buy into. And it is also an understanding that some conspiracy theories are actually put out by the conspiracies themselves in order to make you feel disempowered, because the greatest power that anyone really has is getting you to believe something that may or may not necessarily be true to their advantage. So understand that by letting go of any participation in the idea of conspiracy theories, by letting go of engaging in any such conversations through social media or in person or in any way, shape, or form, you are truly releasing an energy and building a new foundation, a new energy, a clearer, more clarifying energy, a neutral energy that will allow you to incorporate the upcoming steps in a much more powerful way, in a much more precise way. So again, we understand a lot of these changes that we are suggesting, a lot of these steps that we will transmit to you may be challenging for many of you because we understand that many of you get excited about participating in some of this kind of information. But it is really about letting go of the old ways, letting go of the old world, letting go of the things that have been keeping you in shadow and in darkness for a long time, letting go of what you call the vicious circles, the unknown factors, the constant guessing, the constant wondering. Just let it go. You will be guided. You will open a doorway through which your spirit guides and extraterrestrial beings that are here to serve you can reach you with information and inspiration. But don't invent new things. Allow yourself to simply remain neutral at this point, letting go of any participation in the idea of conspiracy theories. This is a critical first step in the Interstellar Alliance social experiment. And again, if you are questioned about any change in your behavior, it is simply sufficient to say you are now participating in a social experiment to see where it leads. And again, it is up to you to decide to what degree to participate in the steps that we will deliver to you. So it's totally in your hands to whatever degree you are comfortable doing so. But the more you can, the closer you will be to the vibration of open contact. So we thank you for allowing us to share with you this day, step 1 in the social experiment. And in return, we ask now, how may we continue to be of service to you with your dialogues and your questions? Discuss.
I lived my life for years in a very joyful and happy way. I lived according to the formula. Even I did not know the formula because I first heard of you and the formula about 3 months ago. So about 1 year, this changed literally overnight without any visible reason. I woke up in the morning and had a feeling of horror. No pain, but horror. This stayed for about 3 months. Then I overcame it and the joy returned month to month, but not so often as before. So now I have a very happy day. I think one in a month. And the last day I was very, very happy was when I get to know about you 3 months ago. So, I don't feel bad or sad. It's a kind of neutral. But I miss this happiness, this feeling of being high without having taken any drugs. And my question is, how can I reconnect to this? Or should I reconnect? Should I trust that it will come when it's important for me?
Yes, you must allow your life to unfold. It is important for you to go through processes sometimes. The experience that you are describing is allowing your body consciousness to get used to the idea of higher frequencies, which sometimes it may treat as if it is dying. Exposure to higher frequencies may make the body consciousness feel like it is dying, and so that may incite survival mechanisms within you, creating the experience you had of what you are referring to as horror. But it is something that you are going through to allow your body consciousness to be more in alignment with your higher mind, your soul itself. And so, yes, the joy can come back more consistently if you are being of service to humanity through some particular action that represents your passion. So the more that you can interact and act with humanity in service to humanity in whatever way your imagination and creativity so directs you and so guides you, will allow the joy to come back into your life in a more consistent way.
Wow, thank you. That helps. Didn't thought so. So I had two experiences with kind of light balls in my life. The first, 30 years ago, when I was walking home, a glancing, blending light appeared just in front of me. The second was about 15 years ago when I was walking the dog with the daughter of my former husband. And then a light ball crosses over our way from left to right very fast. And we both saw it with our physical eyes. So do you have an idea what this was and what it should say to me?
Well, these again have to do with your guides, with beings from other dimensions, allowing you to know that you can increase your ability to perceive them, stretching your senses as you expand your consciousness, giving you markers, in a sense, representations, in a sense, of vibrational frequencies to attain. So pay attention to how you felt when you experienced those spheres of light, those orbs of light, and allow yourself to come from that vibration of awareness, that vibration of astonishment, and know that they are reflections of the same kind of light that you give off as a soul, as a spirit, as a being, as a consciousness. So they are guides, they are friends, they are members of soul families. They are, in some way, shape, or form, helping to train you to perceive in other realms more readily.
Okay.
They are letting you know that you are never alone.
Wow.
That you always have help.
Thank you. May you tell me something about the Masani?
About your family? Is
I
that what
don't
you said?
know. No, the Masani. I think it's
Mazani.
Masani, yes.
Mazani, what people on your planet refer to as the tall grays.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
That is the Mazani.
Okay. Do they have special information for us?
They do, but it is not something we can discuss at this time.
Okay. I met one of them in a stage between awakeness and sleep,
Yes.
like a very real dream.
Yes.
And he was coming towards me, standing in front of my bed. Was very, very cold. But in this state of nearly dreaming, I was afraid and I screamed, and then it appears.
Again, it's about being exposed to higher frequency energies to get you used to them so that your physical consciousness will not react in a fearful way. So it will not assume that exposure to that energy means that you are dying. Again, remember, many beings have frequencies that are very similar to spirit, and your body consciousness may interpret exposure to that energy as if you are now approaching spirit, which means that you are dying. So in a sense, letting go of any fear of death will allow you to engage with higher frequency beings more readily, more easily. more comfortably.
Okay, there's a point. I'm afraid of death. Yes. Okay. Okay. Um,
Remember that death is just waking up into your true self. That's all it is. Remember that this is a dream. Physical reality is a dream. You are in spirit right now. You never leave spirit. That's your natural state. So death is nothing more than waking up into your true self as a spirit and letting go of the dream you are having in part of your soul of physical reality.
mhm.
That's all it is.
Okay. Thank you. I have one more question concerning you and your people.
Yes.
Do you experience feelings and emotions
Yes.
similar
Love,
to
joy, happiness, all of those kinds of positive emotions, as you would label them. We simply do not choose to experience things like anger or fear. We understand that they are always available, but it is not simply something that we choose because it doesn't serve us any longer for the lessons that we need to learn, for the processes we need to go through.
Mhm. So you don't have to be incarnated or have a body to experience feelings.
We have bodies.
You,
We are physical
uh,
beings. We are not spirits fully. We are quasi-physical. We have the traits of spirit, but you would still perceive us as physical beings.
okay. Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right. Then we thank
So
you.
thank you very, very much, Avio.
Aveo.
Hello, Bashar. My question is, I know that I'm shifting through infinite parallel realities in order to create this one continuous life experience as this human. But am I, as all that is, also simultaneously having, am I aware of, am I having infinite continuous um, life experiences as this human? Is it, am I just having the one and I'm shifting through all the possibilities in order to create it? Or I am aware of infinite continuous life experiences as this singular human? Yeah.
The idea is that all that is obviously aware of everything you're experiencing as an aspect of itself, including all the different parallel realities that you are choosing to go through and navigating through to create your timeline or your life stream. So you're experiencing it as an individual, and simultaneously all that is experiencing it as you and is aware of everything that you're experiencing as a part of itself. If that answers your question, then that is the answer. But some of the questions you are asking are superfluous. The first two questions were sufficient to answer what it is you're seeking.